everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello, welcome to a little video that I thought I would do that has been kind of percolating in the back of my brain for a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys think about this. But as someone who is always trying to diversify her shelf and also to remain abreast of what's happening in the publishing world and keep up with her favorite authors, there are many authors. I do this because they're all in front of me. There are many authors that I do really want to read more from. Whether I've read one book by them or a couple by them in like the same series, I want to see what else they have out there and read more in their either backlist or watch out for what they have coming out. And I wanted to kind of talk about that today. So I want you, dear watcher, my beautiful friend, hi, to leave in the comments some authors that you want to read more from. Whether you want to like delve into their backlist if you just read them for the first time this year, or if you have like a favorite author that you were just like desperate to read more of now, no matter what they put out. I want to know. I would like to know. This started with my little brain noggin kind of percolating because I have been just absolutely bamboozled by my experience of reading Megan O'Keeffe and her two books in the Devoured Worlds. There are three in this trilogy, and I have yet to read the third one, but I'm going to very soon. I have been bamboozled by my experience of this and have been utterly salivating at the thought of her new book that's coming out that was announced. I am so excited about this book. I don't know anything about it. Is it The Two Lies of Faven Scythe? Is that the name of it? This cover is so cool, okay? When Tor dropped it, or Orbit, whichever, they get combined in my brain a lot. I think it's Orbit. When Orbit dropped this online, I lost my shit. So this kind of inspired this video, mainly because I have fallen so in love with how Megan E. O'Keeffe has created this world, has written this story of the Devoured Worlds, following Tarquin and Nyra, as this first book at least goes on a little bit of a genre-bending sci-fi horror survivalistic type of narrative with romance thrown in there, and like a forbidden romance too, which we kind of fucking love. And then how that has morphed and changed in the second book genre-wise. I'm so excited to see what happens in the third book because it's just so good. And I adore the way that she writes. I also love the way that she has included queerness in her books, because there have been so many people that don't realize that Tarquin is trans in this. He is trans. He is a trans man. But the technology in here, in this book specifically, or this series specifically, I should say, the ability to reprint oneself in a body that you prefer is the biggest like trans positive narrative. And also, besides that aspect of it, the inclusion of Tarquin being trans and also doing a lot for youth that are trans in this world, because you have to be of a certain age to undergo what Tarquin does to like get into a new body and all this kind of stuff. And it is also extremely expensive to be reprinted every time. It's a much more like elitist type of situation. So the stuff that Tarquin himself does for others is mentioned very briefly in different places, but it's so tastefully well done. And it is just wonderful to see that happen. And in book 2 specifically, there is a scene, I believe, that we see from Tarquin's father's perspective, because we do get multi-POV in here, that is him like revisiting memories of when Tarquin was a child. And this was before Tarquin underwent any of that specific surgery that he needed to go under and then be reprinted into a new body. So this is when he was a child. And so you see that, and it's still tastefully handled. There's no dead naming, there's no misgendering. It's wonderful. I love the queerness in here so much. And like the casual bisexuality, the casual non-binary inclusion, it's just stunning. And I cannot wait to read more of Megan E. O'Keeffe. And I think the next one that I have, I believe, all coming in from my library in like a month, is when I have it scheduled in, is her, I'm gonna put the cover on the screen. It's something Catalyst, I think. I can see the covers in my head. They're like a gray, a yellow, and a red. The three of them, and I'm so excited to examine more of her sci-fi, especially. It's just so nice, especially as a majority fantasy reader, but someone who has fallen in love with sci-fi in the past few years, to really latch onto an author in the sci-fi genre that you just absolutely love. and that is Megan E. O'Keefe for me. I have another one in the sci-fi genre as well, and that is J.S. Dews or Dewes, or however you say this last name. I have heard it on the audiobook so many times. Can I tell you what it is? No, my brain. But The Last Watch and its subsequent sequel, The Exiled Fleet. I have yet to read the third one. I will, but I need to reread all three of them because it's been a while since I've read the first two. This was so good, and I think it was my first kind of step into more space operatic sci-fi at the time that I read it. I had read like Becky Chambers, fallen in love with that, everything that Becky Chambers does. I'm just in love with. I've read everything that Becky has out, and I will continue to read everything that Becky has out. But it was after I had read like the Wayfarer series, and I had dabbled in a few other things. I had not yet dabbled in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, which I have since read the first and the second book of. They're right behind me, and right there you could recognize those bright, vibrant neon text. You know, they're right there. And I had not yet read those because I was a little wary of a very typical space operatic story, because I had read something like, I believe it was The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi, and I just really did not vibe with that kind of storytelling. So I was worried going in to the Expanse series because of the level of space operatic I believed it to be. But then I read The Last Watch, and this is the perfect level of space operatic and human that I absolutely adore, because it is just, it is so perfectly well done. It feels like you're reading a movie. It is incredibly epic, incredibly space operatic. And yet we have these two main characters who tie us down and give us a very grounding place to follow this narrative from. And we care so deeply about them and their relationship with each other and with other people. And we care about their survival and what happens in this story that feels so like this needs to be a movie, because it's absolutely incredible. Something like that. Like the fact that J.S. Dews has given us these two people to latch onto in this series, that Cavalon, that's why Cavalon and Adequate Rake are two main characters in here. The fact that we have just these two characters in a very epic story helps latch on. I don't know. I love J.S. Dews' writing and storytelling so much. I absolutely fell in love with The Last Watch. And The Exile Fleet is absolutely just fucking amazing as well. And I cannot wait to reread these two sci-fi books and then finally finish the trilogy with the last one, The Relentless Legion. It's just going to be absolutely stunning. But I would love to examine more of J.S. Dews' writing. I have attempted to read her other book, Rubicon. Yep, it's behind me, Rubicon. But at the time, I was going through a depressive episode, and this is not the book you want to be reading during a depressive episode, because our main character is so depressed. Girly Pop is not having fun. This is it kind of has a similar vibe to Mickey 17. Maybe not the vibe wise, but like the similar concept of like people who are just reprinted over and over and reprinted, I say from the language of Megan E. O'Keefe, over and over and over again after they die, simply for the purpose of dying some more. And that's kind of where our main character is at in here. She's fucking done. She's extremely depressed, and then comes into contact with a very interesting AI. So I am very interested to read this. Try it again now that I'm not in a depressive episode. But I just love J.S. Dews' writing so fucking much, and that's why she's on this list. That's it. Another sci-fi. We're just gonna stay with sci-fi. Yep, we're just gonna stay with sci-fi for another two authors. And another one is Yume Kitase. Now, I have read two of her books. I've read this one and also The Deep Sky, this bad boy. And I liked The Stardust Grail so fucking much. I think I ended up including it on my top 10 list of 2024. That's how much I enjoyed this book. I loved the way that the universe in here and the way that Yume Kitase's writing wrapped the relationships of our characters in the intrigue of the different alien species that we come across with the storytelling and the world building. It was just a fantastic way of knitting together a story. I loved it, and it gave a Becky Chambers-esque feel to it. And I am just so intrigued to see where Yume Kitase takes their writing from here, because we have The Deep Sky, which is a little like closer in time to where we are now, because it is like an attempt to save humanity as Earth is losing its shit, and it's this ship of all these 80 different people going out to try and like replenish and find whatever, right? This is fully humans have made contact with aliens, there's other worlds out there, there's space travel regularly, etc., etc. Like, we are in the future with this one. And I loved this book. It's so good. And I just cannot wait to see where Yume Kitase goes from here. And I think it's on the same lines as the other two, like just the writing, the world building, the storytelling. You're gonna hear that repeated so often in this video, but it just is so delicious and I want more of it. I just want more of it all the time. And I know we're probably not going to be getting another one in this world because this is a standalone and her other one is also a standalone. So I'm just like, what else does Yume Kitase have in their brain? What else are we going to get from them? Because I would really like to know. And also the fact that The Deep Sky is much more literary than this one. This one's much more sci-fi and that one has a little bit of like a thriller attempt. Didn't really work. But I'm wondering if Yume Kitase could go fully like sci-fi horror next, or go in an entirely different direction and give us entirely different genre. Like, I'm so intrigued and I would really love to know. I would love to know what's coming out next. An author that I have read only one book from so far, because there is only one book out in the world by them. Is that true? I know. I lie. There's a Doctor Who book, I think, out by Esme Jikimi Pearson. Anyways, Esme Jikimi Pearson, who wrote The Principle of Moments. I cannot wait to read more stuff from her. This is a sci-fi fantasy, so it blends that line pretty good because there's prophecies and deep histories and all this kind of like magic level stuff. And then there's also like time travel and different worlds and space, like Doctor Who, you know? I'm intrigued as fuck to get different things from her. I'm intrigued for the sequel of this and also the new book that she just sold for an incredible deal, for an incredible publishing deal. I'm so happy for her. Gutter Witch, which is coming out, I believe, in 2026. I cannot wait for that one because I don't know much about it, but I've been following like pieces of her writing life here and there because she also posts to YouTube. She does vlogs and stuff like that. I am so excited. I don't know what it is about being able to attach knowledge of the author and seeing them go through the process through like vlogging or just having a social media presence and like talking about everyday stuff or talking about their writing process. Having that level of connection with an author makes me want to read their books more because I just like them as a person. You know, that may have a hand in this, but also this was a fucking masterpiece with the world building and the intricacies of the story in here and the way that things were like put together and then given to us as a story. Like, it is some of the coolest literature I have ever read. Like, it just is so neat. And I cannot wait to read more of what Esme Jikimi Pearson has with her creativity. I really, really can't. I can't wait. I cannot wait. All right, leading away from sci-fi now, let's talk about some fantasy. Of course. Did you think I was going to do a video about favorite authors and I wasn't going to talk about fucking Erin M. Evans? My girl! You guys know, if you don't know, if you're new here, I reread this book 4 times, almost 3.5 last year, and then finished that reread at the beginning of this year. I read this for the first time early last year. I was like, holy mother of fucking God, this was amazing. I need to find this author and see if she's written anything else and also what else she's doing. And so I found the Writing About Dragons and Shit podcast. I became such a mega fan. I found the Discord for the Writing About Dragons and Shit podcast, reread this another 2 times through at once as an author, like trying to see and like map out what Erin was doing with her mystery and stuff like that, because Sage's story is going to be heavily influenced by this, which is my next trilogy that I'm going to be working on after I come out with A Favorite Fate later this year. Plug. Anyways, and that's my cozy fantasy series. But next is going to be actual darker fantasy mystery type situations. Anyways, Erin M. Evans, my girl, love this shit so much. Became part of the Discord. Ended up being invited by Erin herself to be part of the Empire of Exile's Reread Book Club podcast on Writing About Dragons and Shit. And guys, it was so much fun, and it's so... it is a little surreal to be able to actually say that you've met one of your favorite authors and they're like legitimately such a cool person. Like, I can say that I have sat with Trevor and Erin and I have had full conversations with them outside of the podcast as well. They know who I am. Like, that's so fucking cool. Anyways, so yeah, I would really love to read more of Erin's work. I have the Brimstone Angels books, which she has written as like D&D tie-in novels. I believe there's 7 books in that series, 6, 7. I have them all on my Kobo. I just need to read them. And also she's done some tie-in novels, or is doing, because there's this one and there's a second one coming out later this year with RuneScape. As someone who doesn't know a fucking thing about RuneScape, I am still very interested in this book because it's Erin M. Evans. And you could never convince me that that would have been a thing a number of years ago, being like, yeah, you're gonna like want to read tie-in novels to stuff that you've never experienced before. Hey, I'm kind of there with Star Wars too. Like, I just love learning lore and reading really good stories. That's kind of who I am as a person. But this guy is a big froggy man, and apparently he's great. B-Dave hypes him up all the time on the podcast, so I can't wait to read this one, and also the second one when it comes out. I don't know if it's an actual connection to this one. I'll have to check that out. If it's like the Star Wars books where like there's multiple authors writing in the same connected standalone series, or if it is actually a second book to this. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to look into that. But I want to read everything that Erin M. Evans has ever written. I need to get on the Brimstone Angels series train because they talk about it so much on the podcast. Erin talks about what she's done with the characters and like specific choices that she's done with her scenes and stuff like that. And I want to get into it. I really, really fucking do. And all of you need to take this as your reminder to read Empire of Exiles. And once you're done reading it, then go check out the book club episodes of Empire of Exiles on Writing About Dragons and Shit. In the meantime, go listen to Writing About Dragons and Shit because it is my favorite podcast ever. Even if you're not into writing specifically and you're just like loving this vibe of the energy of the book space, go check it out anyways. I know it's like writing advice, but they talk about how stories are created because B-Dave is also a like script writer, a screenwriter, and a comic writer, and Trevor is very entrenched in the game writing space and in the D&D writing space as well. So if you love stories and if you love nerding out, go check that podcast out. This was not meant to be a plug, but that is my plug for them and my love of Erin M. Evans. On to the next. I want to read everything Tracy Deonn has ever written, ever. And will ever write, I should say, because I believe Legendborn was her debut. Yeah. I need to read more. I cannot wait to see what she comes out with after she's wrapped up with Bree. Because I know we have one more book coming out in the Legendborn saga. We've got one more to wait for. I believe it's 2026, potentially coming out. We don't know anything about it because we just got Oathbound, but we just know that there's one more, right? I have yet to read Oathbound. Cannot wait to read it. I'm rereading Bloodmarked first because I just reread this one. This was a 5 fucking star. I've read this book now 3 times. And each time I'm like 5 stars, 4.5 stars, 5 stars. Like, it is just so good. And it really just depends on my mood when I'm reading these books, when I'm rereading things, because this is proof. It is a fucking amazing book. And I cannot wait to see what else Tracy Deonn has up her sleeve and her storytelling, because the characters that she has created in this world, I've only read book 1 and 2, but like, so good. And as someone who doesn't like YA fantasy all that much anymore, I cannot deny that Tracy Deonn is a fucking master in what she does, and these books are some of the best books I have ever read across age categories. And that's saying something, because I've read a lot of really fucking good books, okay? Like, guys, I don't know what else to say about Legendborn to make you read it. This is also just a rec video for you guys to read all these amazing books at this point. But like, I can't wait. I can't wait, because this is one of the few on this list. I guess as we're going through here, I guess we also have Esme J. K. Person. Like, I'm interested to see what else a lot of authors have in their heads, what other stories they have percolating outside of series that I have read by them. I think that's really what this idea of this video boils down to, is that I want to know. Because we can't all be Cassandra Clares, where we can't write 800 books in the same world with the same fucking concepts over and over and over again, right? We can't all be like that. So can we all be like V.E. Schwab, where we write in many different avenues with many different stories? Maybe. Can we be like H.M. Long, where we have written it fucking, oh, that's another one. I mean, I've read a lot of her books though, so I couldn't really include her in this video because I've read all of her books that are out in the world right now, which is like 6. So That's more than just a couple, you know? But I want to read everything that she ever writes because she's one of my favorite authors ever. That's going to be another video soon. I'm going to do another updated, like, favorite authors ever. But again, reading stories by authors that you just so deeply love and then getting to read more from them, not just in the same series, but like seeing what else their brains think up. It's so cool. It's just so cool. And as an author myself, I'm so excited to do that as well for other people. Like to be that person that people are like, oh man, like I've read her cozy fantasies. I want to see what else she's got out there. And I have a romance novella as well. It's Christmassy, right? So it's kind of very specific time of year you can read it, but I have that as well. And I'm so excited to show you what my actual love and heart is in the fantasy world, because like cozy fantasy is my like love child, but I am such a I love fantasy so much, and I write really dark shit sometimes, and I'm very excited to share more of my fantasy stories with you because I have so many different ideas. And I think that's also kind of the root of this. I want to see what other ideas these authors have, and I want to dabble in that as well, because we all know, like, an author isn't going to write your favorite book every time, but it's still really cool to be able to read more from them, to see how they change as an author, to see how they stretch their wings as an author, to see how they dabble in different worlds and see what's like similar between their previous works that you have read and what they've just released and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to do that with all these authors, and I'm excited as an author to do that for you guys, I guess. Okay, 3 more. 3 more, and I hopefully won't go on a tangent in the middle of it, but like tangenting is kind of a thing. Next up is another one-off author that I believe only has 1 book out. I could be very wrong. Who's to say? Bethany Baptiste. The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste was such a great read. It is again marketed as YA, but I think this fits more in the new adult category. It is honestly along the lines of like, if someone was trying to get from a YA fantasy reader standpoint into adult fantasy, I'd be recommending something like this. There are some books that fit very nicely right in the middle, but it's hard to market when something fits nicely in the middle, you know? And I think the only reason why they market it as YA is because our main character is like 18, but she's grown as fuck in this. And it's so well done. Like, this is not a fast-paced, angst-filled YA fantasy novel. This is a deeply traumatized main character who's trying to figure out what happened to her mother after she was murdered in a world that is incredibly oppressive to her and her people, as she's also trying to keep her family business afloat, keep her sister safe, and keeps making decisions that make things just spiral down, 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 and is like forced into a lot of shit that she has like no business being in. And it's such a good story. I read this in 1 sitting. I could not put this book down. It was phenomenal. And like, yeah, I say that a lot about a lot of books, but like there's some books out there that genuinely I can't put down because of how good they are. There's a lot of books out there that I just push myself through to read in 1 sitting, but that's just the reader I am. But something like this, I cannot wait. This is honestly like, if you like Legendborn and you have not read The Poisons We Drink, pick this up, because it's urban fantasy, yes, and it also is following a Black main character like Legendborn is, and is written by a Black author like Legendborn is. But I think the storytelling of each of these authors is comparable and may not be like very similar in many ways, but I think the enjoyment factor of both of these, I feel like you would like it. I feel like you would like it. And I need more people to be reading this one specifically because I think this book is so fucking good. And I don't know, I think this is a standalone. I think it's a standalone, which kind of sucks because it would be really interesting to explore this world more and these characters more. But my God, do I need more Bethany Baptiste in my life. I gotta check if she's got anything new coming out, because I just, the way that she wrote this story, I need more of it. I need more of the way that she tells stories because they're very gently nuanced. And, ooh, I'm just remembering another fucking author I need to put in this list, but incredible. I need more of her. That one that I just remembered I need to read more of was triggered by the word nuance. Fucking Octavia E. Butler. I know we're not going to get anything new from Octavia E. Butler, but my God, her backlist though. I have only read this one by her, and it was 5 stars. Because the nuance of which she carries this story with, yeah, that sentence made sense, okay, is unparalleled. And I cannot wait to read more of her stories. I have Wild Seed on my TBR. I have the second one to this one on my TBR, and I just want to read so much of Octavia E. Butler's work. So this is another one. I completely forgot to add her on this list. Last two. Taran Matharu, who wrote Dragon Rider. This was the first book that I finished this year, I think, if I remember correctly, and I fucking loved this story. This is like an adult Aragon. Highly recommend. Shit's insane. Political intrigue up the fucking wall. And I'm so excited for the second one coming out. It's coming out later this month? Next month? No. Yeah, this month. This month. I have it on hold from the library. I cannot wait to read it. Oh my god. I also need to harass Harper Voyager. Maybe they have a free copy that they'll give me. Harper Voyager, if you're watching, I loved this book so much. Can I have the second one? Please and thank you. Anyways, Taran Matharu, I believe they have more books out backlist wise, because I remember looking them up and being like, wow, they have a shit ton of fucking books. But like, this is the first one of theirs that I have heard of. Oh, he has the Summoner series, and he was a National Novel Writing Month participant, which we love. So he's got another series out there, at least one other series called the Summoner series. We also, just as a clarifying thing, we do not support NaNoWriMo because they have a lot of shit that they tried to hide, including child abuse. So no. But we love that Taran Matharu found NaNoWriMo as like a thing and like got their books out for it. But I need more of his work because I think his storytelling was just fascinating. I think it's just so neat. And I need to see, because this is one of his newest books, I want to see like where he started with the Summoner series and like where he is now. I think that'd be really cool. I love doing that with authors, is like looking back and like seeing their backlists and starting like whether or not like I start like in the middle of where they are at with their career, and then I want to go back and like see where they started. It's delightful sometimes, you know? Anyways, Taran Matharu for sure. And finally, another debut that came out early this year, or maybe late last year, 2024, last year, Emily Varga with For She Is Wrath. Because I went into this with very low expectations. One, it's YA. I have low expectations for every YA book that I read. But I came out absolutely so hype. So hype for Emily Varga's writing and her storytelling. This is a Canadian author, a Canadian Pakistani author. And I really, really enjoyed the way that she wrote this book. I think her prose is fantastic. And I am so excited to see what else she comes out with, because this is a standalone book. So I find it really interesting in the publishing world as well that some debuts get standalones as their first thing, and then some debuts get an automatic trilogy. So I wonder what Emily Varga sold. Did she just sell this one book, or did she sell 3 books and then this one was just a standalone? I'm very curious. The publishing world is so interesting to follow. The traditional publishing world, I should clarify, because the indie publishing world is always, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm sitting. I really liked the way that Emily Varga wrote this book. Like, the prose is just stunning. And I'm very intrigued to see where she goes from here and like how much she grows as a writer, because this was like a 4-star book for me. So what else can she give me? What else has she got up her sleeve? That's just, again, another notch on the, I like authors' ideas and I want to know everything. That's really it. I just love figuring things. I love finding things out about authors and like their ideas and things that they got going on. Like hearing, we're going back to writing about dragons and shit. On an episode that I listened to recently, which is I believe 146 or something like that, they had an indie author on there who regularly pitched novel ideas to her writing group, and she pitched a couple on the pod. And it's just so interesting to hear authors talk about their ideas and then have other authors give their opinions or like to discuss these ideas and like where ideas have come from and things like that. I love it so deeply. Anyways, my friends, that is all I have for you today. These are some of the authors that I want to read more of, and I will be reading more of as they come out with new books, as I dabble in their back list of wonderfulness, you know? And I would love to know some of yours. So again, as I asked at the beginning of this video, please leave me a comment down below of what is on your list or who is on your list for authors you really enjoy that you want to read more of, because oh my God, I gotta know. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in another one very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.